All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Full Circle Podcast. I'm your host, Joe White, aka Coach Joe, aka the handle of whatever social media outlet that you found me on. Welcome back to episode number 16. We are back for the first upload this week. Like I said, man, first I'm gonna try to get another episode out this week. Definitely try to get some more stuff out there. I got a lot of free time right now. I'm like in this like weird kind of stagnant kind of time in my personal life, like in terms of whatever I got going on. My coaching stuff don't got a lot going on right now. UNLV, I don't got a lot going on right now, and then obviously my job, I don't stop. I'll start my job finally, the big J word. I start that on next week. First day is on the 17th, bro. I'm looking forward to it. You know, just kind of stay low, stack some money up a little bit. It'll be nice, bro. It'll be real nice. But yeah, I'm like in this weird like time where I don't really have a lot going on, so I got a lot of free time. So figured I might as well just make some content, man. I definitely got to get back on my TikTok grind a little bit, because I feel like all I've been using TikTok for recently has just been to upload my podcast clips, and I think TikTok's been noticing that. So now TikTok kind of like, I don't know, I feel like they're kind of weeding me out of the algorithm. I don't get as many views. Last episode didn't do great on every platform. Didn't do great. Well, did okay on YouTube. The podcast itself didn't get that many views. Not that it gets any views really that much anyway, but I digress. But yeah, TikTok, like, man, usually TikTok, when I post a clip, it'll get 300 to 500 views, somewhere in that range. These ones don't, I mean, man, they just barely scraped over 100. So I think maybe TikTok's just cracking down on my algorithm, but it is what it is, man. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I do got to get back on my TikTok grind, man. I just got to post some more stuff on my TikTok, get a little more diverse. I want to get a little bit more diverse with the YouTube channel as well. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know. I got some ideas too that I've been thinking about. Maybe just making some other forms of content. You know what I'm saying? Obviously I'm going to keep doing the podcast. That's what this whole channel is about. So we're going to keep doing the podcast, but I don't know, man, maybe some other stuff. I don't know. I got some ideas. Me and the homies been talking about getting some stuff out. So we'll see how that goes, man. I think it'll be good to diversify a little bit, especially on Instagram and TikTok as well. Yeah, the TikTok is difficult, man. I don't really got that many ideas for TikTok. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be regular schmegler. You know, I want to be a little different. I want to be creative. Yeah, I don't know. My mind goes a bunch of different places, bro. A lot, especially with the clips too. I try my best to. I make all of the clips that you see. I hand edit those. That's all me. You know what I'm saying? I don't use AI. I don't use anybody else to edit those or anything. I could use AI if I wanted to, but I feel like that there's just something, I don't know, there's an element that AI doesn't necessarily grab from as opposed to, you know, a human making it. But yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. I want to get the creative juices flowing a little bit. Got some stuff in the works. Definitely got some stuff coming out this week, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, we'll see, man. Stay tuned. But yeah, other than that, let's get into today's episode, man. You know how we usually start solo episodes. We're going to break into a little Bible quote real quick. Today we're going to look into Isaiah 43, 18, 19. It starts, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." This verse kind of was pretty fascinating to me, man, when I was doing my research on it. My first impression of it is the idea of kind of, you know, starting over. As humans, a lot of times we fear kind of starting over. You know what I'm saying? Because we are usually so stuck on what was, you know, whether it's like a new job or, you know, you move schools to a new state or something, or you lose a significant other or lose someone in your life too. If you lose somebody that's kind of, you know, important to you, I don't know, man, it's easy to stay comfortable and like kind of live in the past. That's just kind of what we are. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. Oh, well, there is to a degree. You can mourn the past but not be stuck in it. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it doesn't really feel like it at the time. Like I remember when I first moved out to New Hampshire, I moved across the country where nobody else, I had no family out there, no, nothing, man. That was one of the scariest leaps I've ever taken in my life as a whole. And I left everything that was comfortable. And I will say that there was a part of me that kind of did feel like, because I was unable to get over what I was missing out on back home and on this side of the country, that part of me wasn't able to be fully present for the entirety of living out there. I was only out there for about a year. But there were definitely some things that I missed out on, especially when I first got there, that, just basic things, man, like things that I wish I would have did a little bit differently, because I was kind of too stuck up on what I had going on back home, that I never really allowed myself to dive fully into the experience of what was in front of me and what the present was. I would say towards the end, I did kind of gauge into that a little bit more, but definitely to start, man, like it was my first time leaving, and I was so content with what was comfortable that I didn't want to get uncomfortable, because I already was uncomfortable enough. So I didn't want to get more uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man, change and starting over, it's good, man. But like I just said, it's uncomfortable, and that's what we don't like. As humans, we just hate it. But sometimes we kind of need a reminder that when God kind of closes one door, He opens up another, no matter what the situation is. Like I said earlier, like you don't need to forget about the past. It's important to remember the past and to cherish, obviously, all of the good stuff. But where it gets a little kind of like a gray area is when you kind of dwell too much in the past, and it kind of starts to affect what you have going on now and what your focus is now in the moment, in the present. It's honestly a learned trait that you kind of just learn as you grow and you mature. That you kind of just learn how to be more present and focus more on the future, as opposed to dwelling on what was in the past. I want to kind of go back to the middle of that quote where it says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" Sometimes, is like I've been saying, it's really difficult to kind of see what we have, what's right in front of us, when we're stuck on what had happened in the past. You got to find the beauty and the message or I shouldn't say message, sorry. You got to find the beauty in starting over. The beauty in being like, okay, I'm here now. This is new. This is different. I'm doing a new thing, but you have to perceive it. Obviously, in the quote, it's saying, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" That is just a message to human nature that a lot of times we don't perceive it when we are beginning a new journey, or we don't perceive the blessing that is in front of us and the new opportunity that's in front of us. That's the thing about human nature, is we can never really accept the blessings for what they are in the present, nor will you ever be able to fully accept the blessings if you're still kind of somewhat stuck in the middle. So, like I said, this verse just serves as a reminder to be present and, trust that God has a plan, and understand that even the lows are all part of the creation of making, like towards the end there, when it says a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland, that even though the new beginnings suck, and it seems like they suck, and there's going to be times where they do suck, that it's all part of a bigger plan, and that it's all going to eventually lead to something, and to appreciate the little things in the moment that make you stay more in the present. That's really all I got for today on that. I hope that can reach who it needs to reach, man, because I feel like I'm not perfect. And, I sit here and I preach all these different messages on my solo episodes. Yes, do I try my best to live my life by those lessons that I teach? Absolutely, every day. But, sometimes it is good to have a reminder, because I need reminded on that stuff too. Nostalgia is a really, really difficult thing, it's a difficult thing that we struggle with as humans, man, to be kind of stuck on what was in the past. But once you learn to be more in the present and cherish the memories and understand that what once was will never be the same thing again, there's a lot of peace in that, man. And you just got to know and trust that God has a plan for you. That's really all I got, bro. Anyway, that's what I got. So let's hop in to the meat of today's episode. Today, as I was talking about earlier, man, I've had a lot of free time. So, people ask me a lot, what do I do in my free time? Make a podcast. I play a lot of basketball in my free time. I lift. I love going to the gym, eating. What else? Play video games. I do love it. I want to do an episode about video games too. What else do I do? Pretty much just typical guy stuff. I feel like a lot of what I just said is 80% of every other guy ever. You know what I'm saying? But I do like to watch TVs and I do like to watch cinema. That's another thing. I like going to the theater and stuff, as I've talked about in previous episodes. But that's another thing, man. I do love watching a good binge. And it's been difficult now because I feel like there's so much to watch that I don't know what to watch anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I've been taking into account what everybody's been saying and just stuff I've seen on TikTok. I've been going through and I've been watching all the shows that everybody says is the best shows in television history, right? I've watched Breaking Bad. I've watched The Walking Dead. I want to watch Snowfall. That's on my list. Shout out Boston. I know Boston's been trying to get me to watch that for years. Any other recommendations I'm open to hearing. What I'm on now is I'm watching The Sopranos, right? And from what everybody's told me, especially people in the older audience, I will say, they say that The Sopranos is probably the best show ever, right? And I'm a season deep into it right now. So mind you, I'm not finished, but from what I've seen from the first season, and maybe it gets better. I don't know. It could be one of those shows that just progressively gets better. I'm about 2 episodes into the second season, but I don't see how this show is going to be the best show I've ever seen in my life. It's a good show. Don't get me wrong. I'm watching it now, and I like the dynamic because going into it, I thought it was just going to be about the mob. I thought it was just going to be about whatever typical Italian New York mob stuff, but it's actually kind of interesting. I wasn't expecting the whole therapy dynamic about how he's in therapy and how he's the mob boss going through all that stuff. And it's just interesting to see like how the way of life was for somebody like that during that time period. Obviously, it was very frowned upon for men, especially men. And I get it if you're in the mob and you're going to see a psychiatrist to go talk about how you're feeling, how they might take that as you're spilling the business with what you got going on in the mafia. Totally understand that. But it was just interesting, man, because, you see, I didn't know that dynamic of the show. Then the first episode is kind of what the whole first episode was about. It's him sitting in therapy and talking about it, and they're kind of talking about what's happening, and they're showing that through the show. It's different. It's unlike anything I've really ever seen. But I don't know, man. You can kind of tell that the show was made in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? I think the first season came out in 1999. The other seasons came out in the early 2000s. But yeah, even the dialogue and the way that it's written, some of the shots it's good, man. Like I said, it's a really good TV show so far. Am I even going to put it in a top 5 though? I don't know. From what I'm seeing right now. And I could be wrong. My opinion could change on that. And if it does, when I finish the show, I will let you guys know. You guys will be the first ones to know. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm watching The Sopranos right now. I got to find a way to get HBO Max somewhere in my house so I can finish watching it. But yeah, man, I don't know. A nice good binge when I got nothing better to do and just be out there chub maxing, it's a good feeling, bro. But that feeling at the end when you do finish a series that you do kind of, because there are series where I kind of get invested into, you know what I'm saying? I get invested into the characters. I get invested into whatever. So when that show ends, like there's genuinely like a genuine feeling of like despair or like depression inside me every time a show that I really like ends. And it's just like, man, like what do I do now? I felt that way with, I don't know, man, The Boys. If you haven't seen The Boys and you like superhero shows, I say you should watch The Boys, even if you don't like superhero shows, because The Boys, it's very realistic. You know what I'm saying? And one thing I've noticed is a lot of the big shows that have really big buildups, the endings are kind of a little disappointing, I will say. I thought the same thing with Stranger Things. I thought Stranger Things was a really good TV show up until about the last season. And that last season, that most recent season that came out, that shit sucked. I'm not gonna lie, that shit was bad. Same thing with I wouldn't say The Boys ending was a little underwhelming, but it definitely wasn't as big as I thought it was gonna be. The way that they were playing that up with the whole Gen V, obviously I feel like they were supposed to have a little bit of a bigger role in there, but they ended up not having like anything at all. And I just feel like the way Homelander went out was a little bit sad, but I don't know, for a character like that, I mean, why wouldn't he go out sad? So it was a great TV show. Don't get me wrong. But I've heard the same thing about The Sopranos as well. I've heard the end is very lackluster and is a big build up to a not so big finish, which is okay. I'm kind of expecting it now, so I guess I won't be caught off guard like I was with every other show that I've watched that's had a lackluster ending. But yeah, I don't know, man. And another thing about The Sopranos too, I don't think that I've watched a TV show that has a character that I hate more than Tony Soprano's mom. Livia or whatever, Livia Soprano. God, that woman is unbearable, bro. I feel like every time she's on the TV screen, I actually want to just turn it off. But that's good. That's in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Because she's a very hateable character, bro. Like, it is crazy. Obviously, she tries to get her own son whacked in the first season. Sorry if that's a spoiler for anybody that hasn't watched it. But I don't know, man. She is just, and it's crazy because the way that obviously that interacts, like the whole dynamic is like you take care of your mother and you take care of your family. That's another thing, obviously, in that show. Like, that's just what you do, I guess, maybe growing up in that environment. So obviously he takes care of Uncle Junior as well, when Junior is kind of a bad person to Tony Soprano as well. But yeah, no, his mom, bro, like tried to get him killed and everything. Damn, bro, she is just the most negative person too. She always talk about herself, like the narcissism is crazy. But I think that's what feeds into the show, man. And that's what makes it so beautiful. Is you see a lot of very like accurate psychiatric depictions of certain characters and certain aspects of life. You know what I'm saying? So I think that plays into it. But anyway, let's get into today's list. So today we're going to be talking about top 5 TV shows of all time. I'm taking into account pretty much everything. Obviously, there's a small hint of favoritism in here. Obviously, all these shows that I've seen, and I wouldn't say favoritism. How I like the show, how much I like the show myself plays the littlest role in this list that I have. But other than that, I'm basing it kind of off of the writing of the characters. I'm basing it off of the cinematography of how the show is shot in general, and other, like, plots, subplots, all the stuff, your average movie critique would have. So anyway, let's get into the list. I'm going to go with some honorable mentions first. And my honorable mention to the top 5. So I got 2 honorable mentions. I got The Walking Dead and Stranger Things. So my opinion on The Walking Dead is probably if I had a top 5, if I had a top 3 favorite shows of all time, The Walking Dead is going to be on that list. That show was so good, man. Like it was just so good. And moving on to Stranger Things. Stranger Things was really good. The first season was so good. Second and third season, really good seasons too. Fourth season, pretty good. Fifth season, ass. Dog ass. I didn't like it at all. I thought that the ending was pretty lackluster. I thought that was the beauty of the first season. You know what I'm saying? Was the beauty of the first season was the horror aspect to it, where you didn't really know what the monsters looked like, and it was this kind of new feeling TV show that was set in the 80s, I want to say, that like you didn't really see the monster as much, and you didn't really know what was happening. It felt more horror based than it did kind of like an action show. You know, second and third season, it was the same kind of way. You were finding everything with the mind flayer and all that stuff. But seasons 4 and 5, like 4 wasn't a bad season. It was definitely a little bit corny, but season 4, it had its moments, obviously, like with the corniness, with the whole Chrissy wake up thing, and the whole like Eddie and all that stuff, bro. Like it was just, yeah, it had its moments. It was still good though. It was still good. Don't get me wrong. Season 5 was just straight up like an action show, bro. Like I remember that scene when all the Demogorgons come up out the ground and they just start slamming out the whole army base, and obviously the fight scenes with Vecna and stuff, bro. Like I don't know. I think it just kind of lost its way a little bit, in my personal opinion. It was still a really good TV show. I got it on this honorable mentions list, and I'll never forget the nostalgia of watching that first, because that first season was so good, man, so good. But anyway, let's get into the list, man. At the 5 spot, I have Daredevil, the OG 2016 Netflix version. I don't know, this might come as a surprise to a lot of people, and how I would have this as a top 5 show of all time. But if you watch this show, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's definitely the best superhero project anything ever probably written, with the exception of Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame. In terms of a TV show, this takes the cake, man. Like the pure writing of the character of Daredevil is beautiful, bro. And like a big part of the show is you see Daredevil struggle with his there's a battle between him and his Catholicism, his religion. That's a really big part of the show, and some of the dialogue, man, like it's just beautiful. The way that they the way that they write these characters in the show, and the way that you just kind of see Matt Murdock battle with that, and obviously with other stuff in the show. Some of the writing with Wilson Fisk, and obviously Foggy and Karen Page as well. It was just beautiful, man. For 3 seasons straight, like it was just peak after peak after peak. Obviously, the season 2 is about the Punisher and Frank Castle, but man, that season 3, it was just, yeah, man, it was something else, man. Like it's something that definitely the Born Again doesn't really have in terms of the writing. I thought season 2 did a better job in terms of the writing and even the cinematography too, bro. Like there were some scenes in that show that were just so beautiful. Like I think it's like in the first 1 or 2 episodes where Daredevil's like he's falling out of the building. He's falling out of a building into like some water, and you can see him falling like in the flames, but he's like in the shape of a cross, and he's like falling down in the water, bro. Like beautiful. Some other scenes, obviously the dialogue between him and the priest in the church, it's just unmatched, bro. And then even the scenes, obviously you get introduced to Bullseye and stuff. It's just, man, all around 10 out of 10 cinematic masterpiece of a show. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend that you watch it. I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore or not. If it's not, it's definitely on Disney Plus. But anyway, let's go into the 4 spot. And at the 4 spot, I've got The Office. If I was going to do a list of my top 5 favorite shows of all time, The Office is going to be number 1. The Office is, honestly, I've probably watched it front to back 8 or 9 times now. Even the Superfan episodes. Like this show, this is my favorite TV show pretty much of all time. I think in terms of light comedy shows, it's the best all time, bro. Like I think the concept of the show and the whole docuseries side of it, it was really different. Like I feel like obviously it stemmed from the Office UK version, but that idea of the comedy show that's being shot as a documentary, I feel like it's very different, and I think that the ability to make something as boring as a paper company entertaining to watch is cool, man. And like obviously all the characters, it's a hilarious show. Michael Scott killed it. Every character in that show plays such a crucial role in why it's enjoyable. And obviously like I don't know, man. There were times even in the show where it does get like emotional too. Obviously the slow burn with Jim and Pam. I think that's one of the best love stories in television history right there. Is that Jim and Pam love story? If you don't like, who doesn't love that love story? You know what I'm saying? Other than that, like I said, it's hilarious. I think even the way that it's shot, like it's some of the scenes that are just, they're beautiful, man. And it's a different kind of show. And I think that's why it's on this list. I think it's the best comedy show, point blank, period. I know people are probably going to have an opinion on that. They think it's Friends or, I don't know, whatever else you want to compare it to. I don't think it even comes close in terms of comedy shows. So I got that at the 4. Anyway, let's go into the 3 spot. So at the 3 spot, this might be a little controversial, but I don't think so. I'm going to go with Black Mirror, right? The show on Netflix. The reason I say Black Mirror is because every single episode in that show is pretty much its own cinematic masterpiece. It's like its own little short film. Some of the episodes are long, like an hour and a half. Like it does feel like a movie, but it's yeah, I don't know, man. They're so well written and shot that it's so hard not to appreciate it. And for me, it's hard not to put on this list. Not even to mention the plot twists and stuff. Like some of the plot twists, man, like the plot twist at the end of, what's the one? The Dance For Me, I think is what it's called. That's the one where I ain't even finna go into it right now, but you can look it up. And if you haven't watched Black Mirror, this is the one show that I'm going to recommend to everybody is you got to watch Black Mirror, bro. If you're a fan of horror and like dystopian futuristic stuff, this is the show for you, bro. But anyway, yeah, like the plot twist at the end, bro, like there hasn't been a show up until when I watched Black Mirror that has genuinely had me sit there in complete and utter like awe. There's been certain episodes where I've genuinely just been in complete like awe. You know what I'm saying? Cinematically, like I said, it's beautiful. The way that some of the episodes are shot are just it's crazy, man. But obviously the most intriguing aspect to the show is the dystopian side of it when it displays like dystopian society. And honestly, the reason that I feel like I am a fan of it so much is because some of those dystopian concepts kind of seem like something that's going to be realistic in the next couple of years. A lot of episodes, man, like when it comes to the VR and the stuff that goes into your head, all that stuff, bro, like it's just I think there were a few dating kind of ones that were really interesting, just concepts in general. And there were 2 episodes in the most recent one that were actually very emotional episodes. Like you watch it and it's like, oh my goodness, like that. Like there was one episode that almost brought me to tears, bro. The eulogy episode, where the dude, his ex dies from like many years ago, but she never reached out to him. So then he went through and he like erased all of like her face out of every picture he had, but he has to give the eulogy at her wedding. And he's trying to go and he's got like this device where he can go into pictures and like live the pictures again, but he can't because he hasn't seen her in a long time. So he doesn't remember what she looks like. And all he had was the pictures, but she's erased in all the pictures. So he can't remember what she looks like. And then one thing leads to another, like come to find out that she actually did write him, but the message never got to him or something, or I forgot what exactly happened. I just remember watching that and I was like, damn, that almost got me. And then the other one, and this episode was really interesting. I'm gonna actually look up which episode this was right now. Sorry, give me a second. I gotta look this one up. But this one was really good. It was the was it Common People? Ooh, I think it was the one with Rashida Jones. Yeah, Common People. So Common People, this episode is about this couple, and I think the wife was getting early like onset amnesia or whatever, where she's starting to forget things, right? And so the doctors say that she can get this chip that basically saves her from not losing her memory, right? But the thing about the chips is that eventually she gets the implant in her brain, but a side effect of the chip going in her brain is that she just at random times just spits out ads. So they'll be having conversation, whatever, and then she just spits out some ads. So then they go to the doctor and they ask the doctor, "Hey, how does this like what's this about? Like, you guys can tell us about this." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, it's just a side effect. If you want the ad-free version, then you got to pay more money." So I think the first time they did it, but then something happened, things changed, and then now they have another subscription. Like, given time passes from that last conversation, the company with the chip comes out with another subscription level that you have to go above for, and you have to pay more for the new subscription to get no ads. So now she's coming out and blurting out ads again because she's got the chip in her head, and they want to get rid of that, but now it's too expensive, so they can't. So now at random times during the day or whatever she's doing, she'll just blurt out random ads, and it eventually drives the husband crazy, and then the subscription just becomes more and more expensive, and they try to find alternatives, but there's nothing they can do. And then at the end of the episode, he ends up just putting a pillow over her head and just smothering her to death, man. It was a really emotional episode, but it was so good. And it's crazy to think that, because that could actually be a reality, and it's unfortunate that that's not a surprising thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a surprising idea, to have the idea that might be a realistic future. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of scary, bro, and it puts things into perspective. But anyway, bro, got off track there a little bit. Let's get back into the list. If you haven't seen Black Mirror, I recommend you go and watch those, because those are amazing. At the 2 spot, I'm going to go with Dexter. And it drives me kind of crazy. I shouldn't say it drives me crazy, but the aspect that I really like about this show is that the show is made so that you really like Dexter as a person. But when you really kind of break it down, Dexter he's not a great person. You know what I'm saying? He's a murderer. He's a serial killer. But, he's kind of like a likable serial killer, which is crazy. And if you would have shot that show any different, because the thing about it is it's like a lighthearted drama, like kind of like a lighthearted drama show that's about a serial killer. But if you would have shot that show any differently, that show would have straight up been a horror show. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would have thought Dexter, if that inner monologue wasn't going throughout the whole show, you would have never, Dexter would have been terrifying. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, this show's on here. I think the whole aspect of the inner monologue is interesting. I feel like there's not a lot of shows that kind of do that. And I feel like to encapsulate that for the serial killer side of him was interesting. You kind of do see his character development throughout the show. And obviously the side characters, Rita, damn, bro, I ain't even gonna say nothing for those who haven't seen it, but obviously the plot, amazing. The plot twist at certain points throughout the seasons, it's just, cinematically it's beautiful as well. There's some beautiful scenes. The thing about Dexter is it draws you into like really kind of like a moral dilemma. Is Dexter really that bad of a person? You know what I'm saying? Because he is a serial killer, and it's like this. Obviously, he talks about the dark passenger and stuff, and how he can't control this urge that he needs to kill people. But the people that he does kill are all bad people. You know what I'm saying? Pedophiles, other murderers, people who abuse other people, whatever. Like, he kills people that are bad people. So does that make him a bad person? Because some people call him a vigilante, but some people still call him evil. To me personally, I think that I wouldn't say he's a good person, but I think that he does things that, obviously, like, I don't know. He goes to measures that I wouldn't. Oh, it's hard, man, because I wouldn't say he's a good person, but I wouldn't say he's a bad person either, because he doesn't kill innocent people, but he does have a hunch and a thirst for killing for those who do harm to other people. So I don't know, man. Personally, I think most of his killings, I would say, are rather justified if you watch the show. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, Dexter's at the 2. Beautiful show. And at the 1 spot, the best show that I've ever seen, and that I think is kind of just all around, everybody says it is the best show ever. It's Breaking Bad, bro. Like, every single episode of Breaking Bad is, like I was saying about Black Mirror, but this, like, every single episode of Breaking Bad was genuinely a cinematic masterpiece. Like, there weren't really a whole lot of filler episodes. And it just, it's crazy that, like, I don't know. I liked how they started every episode of the show with something, like, at the end. So it was, like, foreshadowing throughout the whole episode. Obviously, the character development from Walter White, you know, being the goody two-shoe guy and the chemistry teacher that didn't really get his hands dirty at all, to being the person that he was at the end when he died. It was, man, that was my first time watching a show where I've seen the main character get progressively, like, worse. You know what I'm saying? And I liked him as a character, but there's no denying the fact that Walter White was a shitty person. He was so bad. He was, like, and don't get me wrong, like, he was a good criminal, whatever, but he was not a good person at all. Like, when you look back and you look at the things he did, I mean, he murdered a bunch of people. For starters, he cooked crystal meth. The manipulation he did to Jesse, I mean, man, that I felt so bad for Jesse Pinkman, bro. Obviously he got Hank killed as well. Who else? And this is another thing, man. Like, he did treat, and I have my opinion on Skylar White. I feel like Skylar White gets a lot of flack as a character. But in reality, like, yes, Skylar White does have her moments where she is an annoying character in the show. But honestly, she put up with a lot of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And she was low-key solid. She was holding it down for Walter with the whole money laundering thing. And she never ratted on him or anything. I honestly feel like, given the situation, how shitty of probably a husband Walter White was being, and a person that Walter White was, she honestly didn't really do anything that bad, in my opinion. I mean, she did have the affair with Ted Beneke, but same thing. Like, at the same time, like, Walter White was just not being a good person, and not being a good father, and not being a good nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, yeah, I don't know, man. But it was just beautiful. Like I said, I really do like Walter White as a character, but he is not a good person. But even the character development for, like, Jesse, and don't even start with Walter White and, like, what happened with Jane. And obviously he poisoned the kid, forgot his name, but, like, poisoning the kid was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously he's the whole reason Jesse got into everything, and then got held into captivity. It was just, yeah, I felt horrible for Jesse Pinkman. And, like, honestly, I felt like the El Camino movie, because I did watch that afterwards too. He did have to go through some more shit, but it was nice knowing that Jesse Pinkman kind of got, like, a good ending. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know, dude. That episode, that final episode of Breaking Bad, bro, and every episode in between, honestly, like, Breaking Bad was genuinely a show that its worst was probably its first season, and it just genuinely, it never came down. Like, it was always consistently good through 5 seasons. That's really the only show that I've ever watched that's been like that. Where it's never really even had like, each episode was better than the next, is what it felt like. But yeah. Anyway, that's my top 5 TV shows of all time, man. Let me know what y'all think about the list in the comments. But yeah, let me know if there's any other recommendations of TV shows I should watch, man. I've seen a lot. Obviously, there's probably a few that are on this list, bro. Another show that I guess I could have maybe threw in the honorable mention, but growing up, I really liked the CW Flash show. But the thing about the CW Flash show, it was so good for seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. After season 5, I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed, but it was so ass. It was so bad after Savitar was the big bad. After Savitar was the big bad, the show just completely went downhill, and the writing was terrible. It became corny. The villains weren't great. They took away a lot of the characters too. But I will say that first season, obviously the love story between Barry and Iris, and obviously Eobard Thawne being the villain. My God, like that. Those first 2 seasons, bro, peak. Third season was good with like who was the villain in the third season? I remember season 2 was Zoom. Who was it? It's blanking right now. I remember, Savitar was it, and then who was season 4? Yeah, Savitar was season 3, and season 4 was the Thinker. Yes, sorry, I completely forgot about Thinker. Yeah, anybody after the Thinker, ass. Like Cicada was not good. Who else was like? I remember there was. I don't even remember. I remember watching it, but it was so. Yeah, it just got to a point where it was so garbage, bro, and it was really disappointing because it was a really good show for a while, but then it just went continuously downhill. But yeah, like I said, man, if there's any other shows that I should watch, let me know in the comments. So I'll definitely get to it and review them. I'm gonna finish The Sopranos. I'll let y'all know if y'all interested in that. But other than that, that's really all I got for y'all today. If y'all made it to the end, I appreciate you. And yeah, like I said earlier in the episode, stay tuned. I got some more stuff coming this week. And yeah, other than that, like I said, appreciate y'all if y'all made it to the end. And I will catch you on the next one.